Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today we're talking about netizens' reaction toward Muhyiddin's recent claims about Perikatan Nasional's readiness to rule. So we have this situation where Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, a really significant political figure, has come out very strongly. He's basically saying his coalition, Perikatan Nasional, isn't just ready. They're stronger than ever, and they're aiming quite clearly to take power in the next general election, GE16. It's a bold statement, aimed right at the current government.
It is bold. And what's striking is how fast the online reaction came and how well polarized it was, mostly leaning towards intense skepticism, I'd say.
Skepticism is putting it mildly
I think
sometimes.
absolutely. People aren't really hearing this in a vacuum. They immediately connect it back to the previous Perikatan Nasional government he led. You remember that administration collapsed after, was it just 18 months?
Yeah, barely a year and a half.
Exactly. So that history, that failure, really, is the backdrop for how the public is seeing this new claim of strength. It casts a long shadow. And looking at his actual words, the confidence level is, well, sky high. He specifically said Perikatan Nasional is more powerful than ever before, explicitly.
He did try to justify it, though, which is interesting. He didn't just leave it as a vague boast. He pointed to inclusivity, saying the coalition now has representatives from various ethnic groups.
Right, implying they've broadened their appeal beyond their traditional base.
And he also claimed that more and more people are interested in joining them. So painting a picture of growing momentum, increasing popular support.
Which, of course, they need to stress. Because the last time, stability was the key issue, wasn't it? That government fell apart precisely because key allies pulled out.
You mean the members of parliament from the United Malays National Organization, UMNO?
Yes, exactly. Several UMNO MPs withdrawing support was the tipping point. So when people now hear more powerful, the immediate question online seems to be, is this real, stable power? Or just, confidence built on potentially fragile alliances again?
Okay, let's shift gears a bit to that public reaction itself, because honestly, the volume of comments just dismissing it outright was huge.
It really was.
The main themes popping up again and again seem to be things like self-delusion, maybe arrogance. Lots of people just weren't taking the claim seriously at all.
No, not at all. The sentiment was just overwhelming dismissal. You saw it in the language everywhere. Comments flooded with sarcasm, things like in a dream or self-consolation.
Like he was just talking to himself.
Pretty much talking to himself, daydreaming. Those phrases were everywhere. It was almost like a collective eye roll online.
Yeah, the sarcasm got pretty sharp too. I saw some comments suggesting he needed a reality check. One was something like, eat more big-headed cabbage, everything is in the dream.
Yes, I saw that one. And others were just blunt, like, go to sleep and continue dreaming.
It says a lot, doesn't it? When people are openly saying things like, we are amazed you still have the guts to say these things.
It really does. It suggests that the confidence he was projecting wasn't seen as strength. It was interpreted more as being out of touch, or maybe a kind of unearned satisfaction that, given the history, the public just isn't buying.
And that general dismissal then seemed to sharpen, focusing specifically on his past performance as prime minister, and especially how he got into power in the first place.
Right, the historical baggage. It instantly became ammunition online.
This is where those nicknames resurfaced immediately, didn't they?
Instantly. You can't escape them in the digital space. Comment after comment brought up Bapa Sheraton, linking him directly to the Sheraton move, the political maneuvering that brought him to power.
And the other one, Bapa MCO.
Yep, Bapa MCO. Father of the Movement Control Order, tying his leadership forever to the COVID-19 lockdowns, the restrictions, all of that. These aren't just insults anymore. They function like permanent political labels.
And it's clear that how he came to power is still a massive sticking point for many. The whole backdoor government idea was everywhere.
Constant references, people asking, backdoor fire still so confident, or sort of mocking the idea coming through the back door again. It seems like for many, that initial path to power just undermines any claim to a legitimate mandate now. Beyond just how he got there, people were digging into his actual decisions while in office too, right? The crisis management aspect.
Oh, definitely. Specific policy anxieties came right back to the surface. Things people remembered and clearly still worry about. Like, one person asked if he planned to close Parliament again.
Which was hugely controversial at the time.
Hugely. And another comment, which was quite powerful, asked, have we prepared to hoist the white flag again?
Wow, that hits hard, referencing the white flag movement during the lockdowns. When ordinary people were in such dire straits, they put up white flags for help. It connects his past leadership directly to memories of hardship and, frankly, suffering for some. That's potent criticism.
So, from the history and the way he governed, the conversation seemed to naturally flow into two other really sensitive topics.
Internal stability and money.
Yeah, questions about how unified Perikatan Nasional really is, and then these recurring worries about financial management often linked to family members.
The unity claim he made. People online just weren't buying it. You saw direct questions like, Perikatan Nasional already split into 3 camps.
Or even claims that his own party, Bersatu, is divided into 2.
Right. There's this strong undercurrent of skepticism about internal cohesion. It boils down to a pretty simple critique, summed up well by one comment I saw. He cannot even sort out his own internal rebels.
The implication being, how can you govern the country if you can't keep your own house in order?
Precisely. And that feeling of instability, perhaps internal chaos, ties directly into the financial worries people expressed, which got very specific.
Very specific and often focused on his family, particularly his son-in-law. Loads of comments asking things like, where's the son-in-law?
Or is the son-in-law coming back?
Yeah.
It clearly connects his potential return to power with fears about accountability, maybe potential financial issues within his close circle. That narrative is strong online.
But maybe the biggest anxiety, the one that seemed most widespread, was about public money, about national funds.
Yes, that seemed to resonate deeply. People explicitly worry about their retirement savings if he were to rule again. The Employees Provident Fund, or KWSP?
Malaysia's main retirement fund.
Exactly. Comments like, the fear that EPF KWSP can definitely be fully withdrawn. That fear comes directly from the memory of the government allowing, even encouraging people to withdraw those savings during the MCO.
A move that was necessary for some at the time, perhaps, but clearly set a precedent that worries people now.
It definitely created anxiety. And you saw broader fears, too. Comments suggesting the coalition's real goal is just to collect money, maybe aiming for trillions of ringgit. It frames their political ambition as potentially predatory.
There was one comment that kind of summed up that deep economic fear, didn't it?
Yeah, the one that said if you get another chance to be prime minister, you might collect enough money to retire immediately. That's brutal. It paints the potential return not as governance, but as, well, a personal enrichment opportunity. That's a very damaging perception to fight.
So, when you step back and look at it all, you've got this leader projecting total confidence, strength, readiness. But the public response online, it's filtered entirely through past failure. They're using these digital nicknames, Bapa Sheraton, Bapa MCO, to pin him to controversial history. And maybe most importantly, they're expressing really deep-seated fears about the country's finances, even their own retirement savings if he were to return.
And what strikes me is how potent those economic fears are. The concerns about EPFK WSP, about public money, they seem to fuel the online criticism even more than the political stuff, like the Sheraton move details.
Interesting. So it suggests that for a lot of people, maybe the bottom line is financial security. That's how they judge a leader's fitness.
It seems that way, at least in this reaction, that stability, especially financial stability, is paramount. The contrast between his confident rhetoric and that deep economic distrust online is really the heart of the story here.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What stands out most to you listening to this? Is this level of public skepticism, these nicknames, this focus on past mistakes, is it warranted? Or does it just become part of the political noise that drowns out actual debate? Something to think about. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.